final question.
Final question for 30 points. So, something, again, I'm drawing from the bodywork here, really. I've had people come to me that they've got a lot of tension, say they pick the quads. They can feel it. They've got tension in their quads. Yeah, it feels like hard lumps and the rest of it. And so I say, okay, spin on your stomach and we'll just see what range of motion you've got. And they've still got fantastic range of motion. You can take their heel to their bum. You could take it by the side of their bum as if they were doing Bakasana or whatever.
Right.
So they've still got a massive range of motion, yet they've got this tension in the muscles. So we might think maybe it's being taken up in the tendon or whatever, but how can they work it? That's the problem they come to me with. You know, they say, but I do this, I do that. How can I?
Why I'm not clear on what it is that's bringing them to the point of conclusion that they need to do something about it.
I think because
does it hurt?
I think they can feel it. Yeah, they can feel that this doesn't feel like the rest of their body, that they are holding tension here, and it's hard as against soft. So they can feel the difference in the quality of the muscle in relation to
other muscles on their body.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, some people are naturally more dense and tight and hard. Some people
it's not like their whole body is hard. It's like...
I mean, it could be leftover patterns from some other activity that they did that's now layered in on top of the mat, like you said, bringing stuff to the mat. Yeah, you know, a lot of the practice is letting go.
Yeah.
Or just as much letting go as it is striving and trying to make something happen in a posture. You got to find the right balance of those two things. So it might even be, you know, more of an attitude, like, of, you know, trying so much that in places where they don't need to.
Yeah. So maybe
and
it's more,
and, you know, it's kind of another little principle or theme of, at some point, you only need to use the minimal amount of effort to do something. Why maximally contract something if it's not necessary? This is my whole thing with, like, squeezing the buttocks in back bend.
Oh, yes. Go on then. Tell us. Glute max. Contract or not?
Do you need it?
Do you need it at all?
Well, you might need it to lift up initially, of course, because that's what gluteus maximus is built for.
It's a hip extensor.
It's not just a hip extensor.
Yeah.
It's a hip extensor specifically for powerful hip extension, where the joint is at the most egregious disadvantage mechanically, right? When I walk, I don't use glute max, but when I run, I use it.
Yeah.
So it's for that, like, added extra power. Yeah. Or if I squat low, I'll use it. Yeah. If I just bend my knees a little bit, I'll use it less. Yeah. So do we need it to initially get up into back bend? Yeah, sure, maybe. Does it need to be on the entire time at 100% effort? It's a big use of energy. Yeah. And it tends to rotate the legs out as well. Yeah. Right? So it's a good example, because what happens is when you use a muscle like, and this one I see much more than, let's say, your example of quadriceps.
Yes.
People with really tight glutes.
Yeah.
And you watch them do up dog, bam, super hard.
Yeah.
Back bend, super hard.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's going to relate to that power in the hip extensors has to be balanced with the hip flexors. So what is psoas doing? Yeah. It's got to work with that. So it's got to build and strengthen and tighten against it sometimes. And you start creating imbalance in the body. That's to me, use it to get up and then use it minimally. Yeah. I'm not saying 100% off even. Yeah. But same thing maybe is happening with the quads for that person. I don't know, you know, individual basis, but...
I think it was more about how to work with that when you've already got a lot of flexibility there.
Soften.
Get into it.
Probably a soften. Yeah.
Cool. I think that's all we've got time for. I mean, I've got a million more questions here. I haven't quite filled the book, but there's plenty in there. Yeah. And, you know, great for your time and this fantastic place, Purple Valley.
We'll do more next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks, dude.
David.
Yeah.
Take care.
Cheers.